fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, guys, welcome back. We are back with our full picks and predictions for UFC London. But first, we're going to do a quick recap of our Ortega versus Rodriguez bets and a little bit of the fights. So go ahead and skip forward if you want to get to those picks and predictions. If you want to see these bets, stick around, listen. So, what's up, dude?
How we doing? Let's get this started.
Yeah, dude, as you guys can see, we made 1.65 units profit. Strange card, obviously didn't end how people wanted it to, but yeah, let's get into it. Straight bets, Schnell. I was getting so much shit for people for picking Schnell. I'm not going to brag all a bunch about it because he almost got knocked out 6 times. But there was a clear path to victory, and he took that path to victory. And I think you're a fool if you didn't take 800 for submission, which is down below as well. Banked off the boy, moving down to the parlays.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'll stay there. If you guys did your MMA math and saw that, who was, frick, let me pull that up.
It was something like he lost his last fight and then wins and then lost, something like that.
No, it was Louis Smolka beat Sumajar by
oh yeah, you
submission.
did talk about that.
Yeah. And then I think not long after, then Schnell beats Smolka by submission. So.
Yeah, and I thought all the value was on Schnell in this situation. It was more of a pick-em fight, I thought, with the line.
Yeah.
And then next we go to the parlays. I had Burgos. I actually thought Burgos lost that fight, rounds 1 and 3, just because I thought Jourdain had better damage in rounds 1. But we'll take a slip win. I think a lot of people thought Burgos won. I don't know. I've rewatched that first round again.
Either way, I don't fault you going either way.
Yeah, and Soriano, not very surprising, got it done. Moving down to your parlay there, guy.
Yeah, Ortega, had that shoulder pop out, and then that didn't work out. So, and then Lemos, he looked good and got the second round submission.
Man, I wish they would refund your money for that Ortega thing. I had 2 fantasy lineups crash for that. Obviously, the 1.5 units we lost off this, and I don't know. That was draining.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a little disappointing.
And right where Ortega had him too, he had him on his back. Like, it was just like a great spot for him to end the round. But he was losing up that first round. But who knows where it goes from there. Yeah, Lemos had that nice sub though.
Yeah.
Next, I had Salikov by decision. I thought Salikov took round 1, and then he slowed down. I think that little bit of grappling with the bigger guy in Lee. And Lee just hits so hard, and it's really hard to nail down a prediction on what was going to happen, because round 1, Lee didn't even get a single good hit off, and then round 2 it was just 10 in a row.
Yeah, and Salikov's never been knocked out before, too.
Yeah, you can't see that shit coming. I guess you could, but it's a little bit less predictable. Obviously, you see the Schnell sub. Algio by decision. Herbert Burns is a really big bitch. He laid on the floor, didn't get up. If he paced his fight, Algio would have won by decision, I believe, but whatever. Fuck that guy. And then obviously the Ortega sub fell off, but still a winning week, and on to the fights. Okay, for the first fight of the night, we have Ludovic Klein versus Mason Jones. Who do you like here?
Yes, I'm liking Mason Jones here, and I'm leaning towards a decision in his 3 UFC fights. He has 1 no contest, a loss, and a win by decision against David Onama.
Yeah, and he's faced some power punchers. He faced Mike Davis, and if you watch that fight, you can find that on YouTube. It was a brawl. I mean, it was just like dudes running into punches the whole time. Onama, obviously a heavy hitter, can be unconventional sometimes. But what I really like about Jones is that he's like a brawler and he's going to fight for your money. And this dude will put it all on the line. If you remember Ludovic Klein's last win against Devontae Smith, he had like a good first round and he started to slow down as the fight went on. But Devontae Smith kind of sucked in that fight. He clearly lost. It's not a split decision. It shouldn't have been. I mean, Klein clearly won that one. And like rounds 3, he had to like resort to hunting on the fence to get out of that. And I think just against Jones, I don't think you can have that. I think he's going to be running away in that big cage for the late rounds. So maybe Jones loses one possibly, but other than that, it's going to be him from 2 and 3 in my opinion. Mason Jones by decision.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for the second fight of the night, we have Nicolas Dalby versus Claudio Silva. I think we're both kind of seeing this fight the same way. You can say who?
Yes, we're liking Dalby here, and we like a finish.
Yeah, I think if you watch his stand-up in most of his fights, he holds that karate style, and he maintains distance really well, and he cuts it down. Kind of like if you watch Wonder Boy, they hold their rear hand up and ready to go, and as they cut that distance, they'll fire that 2 down the middle, and I think he's going to find that knockout. I know a lot of people will probably pick decision for him, but I'm thinking knockout round 2.
A lot of people probably pick decision here because Silva's never been knocked out.
He's getting old. I think there's reasons why you could see this going to decision as well, because Claudio Silva's got like a good ground game. So if Dalby's got a decent one as well, but it's not like jiu-jitsu based the same. And if this goes to the ground, I think that Claudio would kind of hold him down. So we might see Dalby not take as many decision or risks here. And if we want to talk about Claudio Silva for a second, he's what I just call unconventional. If you've seen like a lot of these older fighters who like he fights like Shoeface kind of in PFL, he throws crazy like wild punches and some just connect. He's actually kind of surprisingly coordinated for what he does. But with him losing twice in a row and being 39 and not being active, I'm just going to pick the faster, more athletic fighter here. I think Dalby gets that karate style leap in right hand and maybe leads to some ground and pound to end it. So, Dalby, KO round 2. Okay, for our next fight, we have Mandy Bohm versus Victoria Leonardo. Honestly, not a lot to go off of on this fight. Bohm's coming in here as the favorite, and Victoria Leonardo's came in here on a 2-fight losing streak. She's faced some decent people. I mean, you've seen some of these fights there, buddy.
Yeah, her last loss was to Melissa Gatto, and then before that was to Fiorot. So that was her 2 fights in the UFC, and they're not doing her many favors pairing her up against those fighters there. But she's also fought here in Blanchfield Invicta FC in 2020, and she also lost in that one as well.
I think she's got one other person too on that list somewhere, but it's further down, probably years ago. Mandy Bohm honestly didn't look that good in her Ariana Lipsky fight, and it's really hard to make a pick on this one. I'm just going to say Mandy, just maybe a little bit better stand-up. She has a reach advantage, but hey, Penne had a reach advantage today, and they can't use it. They just really struggle to use it. And I don't know. I'm just thinking decision, but this could be a really sloppy fight. Hopefully there's a finish in it just so it gets to the next one. And maybe just to make the card better. But yeah, let's go Mandy by decision here. Okay, for our next fight we have Jai Herbert versus Kyle Nelson. Horrible nickname for Kyle Nelson, the Monster. Who do you like here?
The Cookie Monster.
The Cookie Monster. Who do you like here?
We're going Jai Herbert here by KO, like the round 1 KO. Herbert in his last fight fought Topuria, and Herbert actually won that first round by surprise and hurt Topuria, and then Topuria came back and knocked him out.
Yeah, it was that size difference.
Kyle Nelson's been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights. So I think that path to victory is pretty clear there for Herbert. And
he hasn't faced as much great people. I mean, Billy Quarantillo is actually pretty good, but I don't think he did anything special in that fight. This Pollo Reyes win was just swinging hammers against the fence on the dude. In my opinion, I definitely would pick Herbert. Like, I don't see how you can really pick Nelson in this situation. But if I were to bet on Herbert, I totally won't bet on Herbert here. He has a questionable chin. I mean, he got knocked out.
Yeah, he's also been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights.
He has. I mean, he did get knocked out by like one of the hardest punches you'll ever see for like a lightweight class. But I mean, the Trinaldo one was just a strange KO, and I just don't trust him with my money. But I just definitely have to pick him here. He's got a size advantage, a giant reach advantage, 77 inches versus 71. Also, it says, I didn't even see this here, latest weight for Kyle Nelson was 145, and this is a 155 fight, so it's a step up in weight. But yeah, Jai Herbert knocked out round 1. Alright, for our next fight, we have Muhammad Mokaev versus Charles Johnson. We have the prospect and Mokaev here. We're both obviously going to pick him. How do you think he gets the job done, though?
Yeah, I'm liking a submission victory here. Probably round 1, if I had to guess here. He
does have that really strong wrestling, and I think that's just what's going to separate him. And really, obviously, we've seen this in many fights, but like, for example, Curtis Blaydes versus Kyle Dawkins.
Oh.
Or Chris Dawkins. Like, when there's a big wrestling advantage, a lot of the times the guys can stand on the feet and then drop the guys, and I think this might be a club and sub. It might just be straight wrestling because the Charles doesn't know what he's going to be in. And the whole crowd's behind Mokaev here. He's going to have all the energy in the fight.
Yeah.
He's also... He doesn't seem fazed by the pressure or anything. Like, last fight, he was literally smiling the whole time he was fighting. And
yeah,
a win against Cody Durden, like, people want to kind of trash Cody Durden, but he's actually, I would say, a really well-rounded flyweight that he put away pretty fast. And like you said about Charles Johnson, he has actually, like, credible wins in LFA. And did you say he was LFA champion?
Yeah, he was.
And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hard for anyone to pick against Mokaev until he really faces like real adversity, and he's just gonna be that hype train in the flyweight, and a lot of people have high hopes for him. So yeah,
he's only 21 years old, which is crazy to think about.
And he's really well filled out for 21 too, and
yeah, he's had like 20 amateur fights, so he does have a lot of experience as well.
Good in every category too. Like, he's a full mixed martial artist.
Right.
But yeah, I like your call, Muhammad Mokaev, submission round 1. All right, for the next fight we have Makwan Amirkhani versus Jonathan Pearce. Jonathan Pearce has got that wrestling base, but we just saw Makwan Amirkhani upset another man with a wrestling base, and we're picking him. We're picking Makwan Amirkhani, the dog, here. What do you like about this fight?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. I like him to get the fight on the ground and find a submission in round 2. Yeah, well,
if you didn't catch some of the most recent Jonathan Pearce fights, I'll talk about him. Just to start from his... we'll skip his Joe Lozon loss. He got ground and pounded out pretty fast by a guy with a good ground game. But he faced Omar Morales, where he didn't face any adversity. Or that was actually this one. He didn't face any adversity. The dude just let him take him down the whole time. and blah 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 blah. Not too much to go off of. Kai Kamaka actually had him in a couple of guillotines, but mostly just wrestled him. And then Christian Rodriguez out-wrestled him, like I believe the whole fight. And then I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think he got so tired at the end of the fight from trying to wrestle the whole time, and the dude almost knocked him out. And I could totally see that happening for Makwan in this fight. But like you said, dude, like, what was it? 3 last fights for Amirkhani have been anaconda chokes?
Yeah, his last 3 wins have been anaconda chokes, and then he had a decision, couple decisions, and then rear naked choke. Yeah,
and those anaconda chokes, they start from like kind of a modified guillotine. It starts as a darce, and they switch to the round and get them on their back, and then they move their hips in to sink it in further. And if Jonathan Pearce is going to dive into his arms, he's either going to be met with a guillotine or probably a anaconda choke. Makwan Amirkhani is really not the best, like, trustworthy guy. He's like switched on and off in a bunch of his fights. But Pearce is so sloppy, dude. If you watch his stand-up, he just throws his hands out there so random. I could totally see him getting caught. And when you just try to over-wrestle somebody, sure, he might get Amirkhani tired and just win that way. But I'm going to take we're going to take the BJJ base over the wrestling to exhaustion. And
and the odds here are pretty outrageous too. Pearce is a minus 260 favorite, and Amirkhani's plus 200 right now.
And Amirkhani just cashed as an underdog in his last fight. So
yeah, he's plus 160 there.
Yeah. Amirkhani submission round 2. Okay, for our next fight, we have Nathanial Wood versus Charles Rosa. Everyone knows what we're going to pick here. We're picking Wood.
Yes, sir.
He's going to be better all around. He's got pretty good stand-up. He just keeps his distance and controls range really well. And he's got a high-volume kicking game, which to judges in this sport means a lot, in my opinion. Charles Rosa's stand-up's nothing impressive. He's just a pressure fighter. One thing about him, he doesn't ever get submitted. He literally faces all these jiu-jitsu guys like Damon Jackson, Bryce Mitchell, Darnick Miller. Doesn't get submitted by them. And I think I'm going to hit the KO or points on Wood in this fight. Do you see a finish by Wood?
Possibly, but Rosa's he was finished by Burgos in 2017. And that's his only time getting finished.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Nathaniel Wood doesn't throw everything on his shots. I think decision's probably the right call. His fight with Casey Kenny, he lost, but that was actually a pretty close fight. He held his own.
And Casey Kenny he's no joke.
He fought Dom Cruz and put on actually a pretty close fight.
It was a split decision.
And I mean, Charles Rosa really just hasn't put on a great performance. Like, you can't remember a performance that's just like stands out about Charles Rosa. He's your run-of-the-mill fighter, takes some punches, and Nathaniel Wood, KO or points, but we're taking by decision here.
Yeah, and he's the fighter from England here too, so
crowd favorite.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at with the judges.
Okay, for the next fight we have Marc Diakese versus Damir Hadzovic. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Diakese by decision.
Yeah, you think decision or KO?
Well, I'm thinking decision because Damir's only been finished one time.
Okay, I think also somewhat true is that Marc really doesn't like put it on people. He doesn't like chase after the finish like some people do. He fights a pretty consistent kickboxing game. He's also fought the who's who of these divisions. He's fought a lot of good fighters. I mean, Lando. He's fought Dan Hooker, Nasrat Haqparast, Jakar Close,
Fazeev.
Fazeev, and he actually had a decent fight with Fazeev. Beat Borashev, who's a really good striker. Kind of got caught in an unlucky guillotine against Rafael Alvarez. But yeah, he's a good fighter, dude. And you'll never see him just, like, completely dominated, in my opinion. Damir, on the other hand, he's got an okay base, but, like, Yancy Medeiros hasn't been very great. Moicano submitted him, and he's got kind of lost to some of these guys with ground games before. But I expect this fight to stay on the feet, and Marc here just to keep distance and touch him up for at least 2 of the rounds and maybe a finish in the third or decision. So yeah. Anything else for you?
You nailed it.
He's a parlay leg. That's one other thing I'll say.
Yeah,
I'll use him somewhere. Okay, for this next fight we have the Bear Jew. We have Paul Craig versus Volkan Oezdemir. The man, the myth, the submission legend. We have Paul Craig, and we're picking him.
Yeah. He'll probably be getting his ass kicked for an entire round, and then he'll find a submission and get the tap.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting his ass beat in that last fight against Nikita Krylov. The Jamal Hill one was crazy. He breaks his arm. But yeah, he's had a pretty crazy run recently in the UFC, and it's hard not.
And the Ankalaev one too, in 2018.
Yeah,
where he got the triangle choke with the last second.
Yeah, dude.
He's getting his butt kicked.
He's like top tier jiu-jitsu, and if he's on his back, you do not want to crawl on his guard. Volkan Oezdemir also, man, he's 32, but like he just seems like he's not in it. Like half the time on his fights, he just like seems to be in there, but not really like going for anything. Obviously he's faced really good competition. Faced Magomed, he faced Jiri, Rakic, Latifi, and Reyes, but like in a lot of these fights, he kind of just sits and waits for his moment, doesn't really go out and attack people. But I don't know if you see this too, but with Paul Craig, he might be able to do a lot of the Charles Oliveira game, which is just like, you want to knock me down, hop in my guard, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, for real.
So like, if you're gonna fight Craig, I think they gotta put him out pretty bad, or they gotta keep it on the feet the whole time. Who knows? But some way, somehow, Paul Craig coming in for the submission. I bet his prop for submission is gonna go completely dusted. It's gonna start at like, well, he's an underdog.
I looked yesterday and it was like plus 270 or somewhere.
I don't know honestly. I've seen the last one. I remember it was 450.
I'll look plus 230 right now.
Dude, it's just gonna keep sinking, and he's gonna turn to the favorite somehow because people will bet on him. But I honestly don't know if I'll bet Craig. If I do, it probably will just be submission and maybe a round with it. But yeah, Paul Craig submission, and some way, somehow. Okay, for our next fight, there is Molly McCann and Hannah Goldie. Honestly, not even that much of a fan of Molly McCann. I think she kind of just steals spotlight, even though she had a good KO. She is questionable in my eyes. But you like her, right, here?
Yeah, I like her in this fight, but I don't really like her.
Whoa, dude. Whoa. She's a beautiful woman, right? Meatball. But yeah, you have an MMA math moment you want to say here?
Yeah, of course we do. Hannah Goldie lost to Diana Belbita, and Molly McCann beat Diana Belbita.
Whoa! So, you heard him last week, and he was right here. So get into this.
Going out on a limb here and saying Molly McCann will win this fight.
Dude, crowd favorite. The crowd will roar her on.
Yeah, and if it goes to the scorecard, she'll win the scorecard.
She's very aggressive. She'll chase down people. Luana Terralina looked horrible in that fight. I really don't think that Molly McCann's that great of a fighter. She just kind of goes in and throws hooks, and she's kind of known for her boxing, but it's just kind of throwing punches and somehow winning. Hannah Goldie, the only reason she's in the UFC is because she has like dude's biceps. Like it doesn't. She's got like too much testosterone in her system. and she's a basic fighter. She throws like straight punches with no power on them, and then throws a kick to end combinations. You see a decision here, I would assume.
Yeah, I'd lean decision.
Molly hit Luana a lot in that fight, but Luana was like tired as hell when she was taking all the punches. Yeah, I don't know.
Goldie's never been finished before either.
Yeah, I just see a stalemate and maybe like some fence work from Molly, but she'll take that moment from Paddy if she can, and somehow, man. And anyway, yeah, she'll get the dub here, and you have her in a parlay, right?
Yeah, I do.
All right, Molly McCann by decision. Okay, for our next fight, we have Nikita Krylov versus Alexander Gustafsson. I'm liking Krylov. I don't know if you hold the same confidence as me here.
Yeah, I like Krylov in this one as well. I mean, Gustafsson's on a 2-year layoff after losing to Verdum. I mean, I don't know. We don't know what he's going to look like now.
Yeah, I have no idea what his motivation looks like either. Like, obviously, like, he's just been in these huge gaps. 5 years, 9 months, 5 years, 3 years, 6 months, 3 years, 2 years ago. I mean, it's just like giant gaps in what he's doing. He also fought heavyweight for a couple of those fights, I believe. The last one for the Verdum one, he's more out of shape. It's hard to say how great of shape he's going to be anymore, but it's kind of weird because he's 35, which usually, like, at light heavyweight, people are pretty good at that age. But he's also been known for his great takedown defense, Gustafsson. But, like, as his career's gone on and he's less involved in this stuff, I think that Krylov can still get dump him to the ground, and it's going to be hard for him to get off his back here. And I think we're going to see a ground and pound knockout, maybe similar to the way John Jones got him out in the second time they fought. Like we were talking about earlier, Krylov got subbed by Paul Craig, but he was beating the piss off of, like, the piss out of him right before that happened.
Yeah. You see him winning the fight like he was winning against Paul Craig, but he just finishes him on the ground.
Yeah,
like
I think he's an impressive fighter, and I think he's gonna take some out of Gus here, and Gus can give up some positions sometimes, and maybe he'll put him belly down and just ground and pound him out. And I think Krylov can actually stand with him on the feet. I don't think it's gonna be outside his realm. But yeah, I'm thinking KO round 2. Okay, for our next fight, we have Paddy the Fatty versus Jordan Leavitt. I feel like a lot of these fights on this card are more tailor-made to the English fighters. I think it's just their way of wanting to keep building the sport and the culture behind these guys. And I think this is another example of one. You think, how do you like Paddy in this fight?
Yeah, all the power to him. I like Paddy by first round knockout here. I think Leavitt has a good ground game. Paddy also has a good ground game. So Paddy's probably not going to want him to go to the ground. And I think Paddy's just a lot better on the feet, and we'll find a knockout.
Paddy's I think, sorry, not Paddy. Jordan Leavitt's takedowns aren't that great either, so like it's gonna be hard for him to find it to the ground for a way to win. And Jordan, man, in his last fight, he looked so tired. In his third, I thought he lost the fight against Trey Ogden. Like,
I thought decision.
I thought he for sure lost, and he didn't, and he twerked after the fight. If he twerks over Paddy, though, it'd be pretty fucking hilarious, I have to admit.
Well, Paddy did say he will be teabagging on Jordan Leavitt after he wins.
Oh, he really did?
Yeah, he said Modern Warfare 2 stuff.
Dude, he should be eating... it's more like Halo, but he should be eating cake while he does it, because he's got to start that weight gain instantly.
Yeah, I'd like to see him puke in the cage again.
Oh my god. Dude, he's all...
puke on him.
He's all...
Like, Here Comes the Boom. Seen that movie?
Yeah. He's all about all these memes, and Paddy the Fatty here. And he's going to keep on hyping up the crowd. In terms of betting, Paddy is not only a parlay leg. I think we both have him in parlays already.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think there's also going to be value in KO prop. We were just talking about this. If you take him by knockout, I think there's going to be an odds boost on that, just because he's a name, and like with everybody with a name, they'll put an odds boost out for these knockout props.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, otherwise, I'm thinking just KO round 1. It's going to be like plus 700 probably. If you just do 0.1 units, take a stab at that.
Paddy KO round 1 on FanDuel right now is plus 600. Paddy by KO, TKO plus 250.
Yeah, plus 250 is pretty nice.
Yeah, I was going to say that's...
the only thing that can be scary is that he goes to a club and sub, but if you watch that like first fight in the UFC he had, he absolutely just kept punching the dude down. I don't think he's going to keep... Yeah. I don't think he's going to search for that submission. And, let's see that teabag. Hopefully he puts his balls in his jaws, and we see the end of Jordan Leavitt's specialness, we'll say. Paddy, the Fatty, KO round 1. Okay, for the co-main event, we have Jack Hermansson versus Chris Curtis. We like the hype here. We really like the hype. There's a big win streak. We're picking Chris Curtis. How does he get it done?
Yeah. Would like KO. Round 2. He's undefeated in the UFC, 3-0, and we saw him a month ago face Rodolfo Vieira, and a lot of people thought that would be his toughest, or probably not his toughest fight, but a lot of people thought that Vieira would be able to take him down, and he did not. So I don't see Hermansson being able to take down Curtis here. I think Curtis will get it done here on the feet. Yeah,
I mean, Curtis, he made Rodolfo go 0 for 22 for takedowns. Like, I think 100% takedown defense. Again, that giant win streak, and Jack's way of winning fights recently has been his round game. He hasn't really impressed me a whole lot with his wins or many of his fights recently. Obviously just has a struggle getting takedowns. Sean pieced him apart. This was never a split decision. I think Sal D'Amato destroyed the scorecard and tried to make his buddies some money at the mob. I don't really credit his Edmund Shabazian win a lot, because Edmund's shown to have a horrible gas tank and not much of a ground game, so that's a pretty easy win. And honestly, you should be finishing Shabazian for how tired he gets. Vittori, alright, that's a loss. And the Gastelum heel hook happened so fast that fight hardly happened. But on Chris Curtis's side, he hit Vieira with a lot of hard shots. That dates off also. It's not a week and 4 days. It was, like Carson said, a month ago. But he hit Vieira with a lot of good shots. Vieira had a good chin.
Vieira's never been knocked out.
Yeah, he's also giant for the division. How do you think, or what do you think, you would straight bet this or use him in a parlay?
I would straight bet him. He's at minus 138 right now. I think that's pretty good value.
Yeah, I think you just go straight a unit on it, possibly. He's going to keep on turning into a bigger favorite. The one thing that's...
Yeah, his first 2 fights, he was a huge underdog. Plus 250 against Phil Hawes, and then plus 280 against Brandon Allen.
Yeah.
And then they finally gave him some respect and had him as the favorite against Vieira.
I think it's going to be interesting who the crowd sees in this fight if it does go past the second, or goes a decision, because, like, Chris Curtis has turned into a big fan favorite, but Jack Hermansson's from Europe, kind of that area, so it's hard to say who will be cheered for. But something that scares me...
I think they'll be cheering when Chris Curtis knocks him out.
All right. I'm also kind of nervous for just if the judges are bad, like Sal D'Amato's out there, and Jack Hermansson's throwing double the strikes, because this is what happened in the Strickland fight. He threw double the strikes, but landed at like a 10% accuracy, probably the lowest of all time. and he gave him 4 rounds. So if like Chris isn't really a volume fighter, he just hits. Like you said, if he gets that KO, there's no problem here. But that's the one thing that makes me nervous about this fight. But yeah,
Curtis and Strickland train at the same gym as well, so their coaches should have a good understanding of what Hermansson does and what he likes to do. So I think they'll put a good game plan in for Curtis coming in here. I think in short notice, a month ago was his last fight. So
right. So Curtis KO round 2. And fight fans, are you ready? In the main event, we have Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall. I bet on this man long time ago when the fight got announced. You like him. We're going Tom Aspinall.
Yes, we are. What was the line you got him at? It was like a pick 'em.
Plus 108, I think, on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's minus 136 right now, so...
And he'll probably keep going up. So
yeah, people like what they see in Tom Aspinall.
Man, there's a lot of unknowns in this fight still, and I feel like I said that about his Volkov fight, but like, I mean, in the Volkov fight, it ended so fast with like me still wanting to know more. I think we know he's going to be better on the feet. Although Curtis did have that last KO. Chris Daukaus's chin isn't the best, and he's not that big, and he was probably expecting takedowns.
Blaydes has improved his striking. I'll give him that, but Daukaus, yeah, you're right. He was knocked out, I think, like a month or 2 prior by Derek Lewis.
Yeah, that was bad scheduling.
He had a quick turnaround. I don't really like that when they get knocked out and turn around.
Especially at that high of a weight class.
Yeah.
Aspinall's just got he's got crazy speed, man. He just is on people, in and out of range really well. But again, this is the big question. It's like, what round can he hold that up to? Because if Curtis gets him to the ground, another question, his takedown defense, can Tom stop all the takedowns? If he can last like into round 3 with speed and power, Curtis is going down. And do you like a KO here from Aspinall? I think KO over submission.
Yeah, I mean, finish either way. I mean, I don't see this fight going the distance at all.
I'm gonna put it round 2 because I feel like
maybe he gets a ground and pound. I could see that.
I mean, also, if you remember some of Curtis Blaydes' previous fights, like when he fought Jairzinho, he was exhausted from a lot of that wrestling. I mean, he's gotten slept before. The Volkov, he got tired wrestling. I think just if Tom gets up in a new, fresh round, it's going to be tough. And Curtis also, like, he has good elbows, but it's not his primary. He doesn't, like, finish people a lot on the ground. Whereas Tom's looking for finishes. And if that gas tank gets depleted of Curtis, see a knockout. If it's standing, if it goes to the ground. I mean, I like Tom here. Most people do.
Yeah, but we've seen Curtis Blaydes go 3 rounds, go the distance. He's going 5 rounds.
Very experienced.
Yeah, but I mean, we haven't seen Aspinall go the distance. I don't think it will, but I think Aspinall's a little quicker, avoids the strikes, and I like his takedown defense. I think he's got really good takedown defense.
And Daukaus,
from what we've seen. So.
I know we shouldn't focus on Daukaus, but Daukaus throws like 3 punches, and Aspinall throws a lot of different angle stuff. He might do a lot of leg kicks, something different. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the unknowns still happening here. Betting wise, I got this line early. I don't know how I feel about people betting it as it goes further here.
Yeah, I mean, this fight's so close. I mean, it should be a pick'em, as what it was at.
But I don't know what the value is all at now. I was thinking maybe Tom just by finish, or fight doesn't go the distance, obviously, because many of his fights don't go the distance. But also Curtis could wrestle him 5 rounds. I don't know. I think There's a lot of unknowns. I think if you got this line with Tom early, you stick with it. And if Curtis floats to a giant dog in this fight to like plus 150 somehow, don't think it gets there. But if it does, hell, you might have to put a little money on him. Hell, I might do it just to guarantee a win. So, I mean, I could do that right now, but I'll take Aspinall here. Cap off a good UFC London card with a finish.
By KO?
KO round 2.
Nice. Yep, I like that.
And, yeah. Okay, guys, this has been our picks for UFC London. If you liked all these picks, subscribe, leave a comment if you just have a disagreement. If you liked any of our picks from last week, if you got any bets for this week, check out that Instagram. And we'll probably have that bets video to you guys by Wednesday. Most of those props are coming out. So
yeah. Yes, sir.
Anything else from you?
Stay tuned for that bets video on Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff.
Win streak, buddy. This is the win streak. Yeah,
yep,
this card, we get the parlays this week, and then the big UFC card.
This week we'll have a lot of parlays this week. There's quite a few heavy favorites here on this card.
Get them odds early. I will post them.
Peace.
Peace.